Everyone, I'm going to be answering questions in the live chat, but I'm going to, if there are any questions in the live chat, but before I do that, I'm going to start addressing the Patreon questions. So this is a Q&A. You could send me your questions and I will answer them. Mostly about either religion, Islam, or politics around the Middle East, or cultural stuff around Islam or Middle Eastern countries as well, or anything else actually, personal stuff, anything. But usually that's what the questions people usually ask. Okay, so Soha is confirming that audio is great. Thank you, Soha, for that. Um, so if you want me to answer your questions, the best way to do that is either to post it in the on Patreon. So every before I go live, I post a link to the stream on Patreon that is only available to our patrons. Only our patrons get to see it. And under that Patreon post, you can post your questions and I will answer them here. And I'll try to finish this within an hour. But after I answer Patreon questions, if there's time, if there's any questions in the live chat, I'll answer them as well. Okay, fantastic. Okay, so let me just go to the first Patreon questions. And yeah, while I'm answering these, if you want to post any other questions in the meantime in the live chat, go ahead and do that. All right, so here's the first question by username Gusale, which means little cow in Persian, on Patreon. So the first Patreon question says, what do you think about this Sam Rajabi and Parviz Parastui drama? What do you think about people that say that the State Department of the U.S. should investigate how Parviz got his visa and not give visas to supporters of Qasem Soleimani? Okay, so let me actually give you a context. So I think Parviz Parastui is an Iranian filmmaker who was recently in California trying to promote, I don't know, a movie or something. But given that he was a supporter of Qasem Soleimani, activists in Iran showed up at his, I don't know, movie screening or whatever they're called, and they tried to challenge his views. Okay, so because I had this question ready beforehand, I'm just going to show you what happened, right? Hold on. So this is what happened. I'm going to share the audio and let me know if you have the audio. Okay. Okay, 1 second. All right, so let me know if you have the audio. I'm going to go back to the live chat. See, be able to see now. Okay. All right, so let's. So look, this is the actor, the Paris Parastui, and these are the activists trying to challenge him. Okay. I'm gonna put it on double speed because you guys, a lot of you don't understand Persian, so I might as well just put it on double speed. So the person with the camera is asking this man, the Paris Parastui, that I have a friend in Iran. Her name is Mahbouba. So Mahbouba is one of the mothers. They call them the mothers of Aban. These are the mothers who lost their sons or their children in protests in the month of Aban in Iran, because they were out in the streets and protesting, and the government just shot them and killed them. Okay. And they were just protesting, just for the crime of protesting. And these mothers ask many celebrities why they go around and try to bring attention to many causes, but they never bring up the name of their sons or daughters. And he's asking, basically, this person with the camera is asking this celebrity why you are not mentioning, like, that is a person that was shot 5 times in his chest and died, and how come you're not bringing attention to anything like that? And she's saying that mother actually specifically mentioned your name, asking why you didn't bring attention to her son. Like you wait. Says Mr. Parastui, she said that you talk about the children of Gaza or Palestine. But you never mentioned once the name of the children of Aban, the people who died in Aban.
مادرای دادخواه آبان باشه. من می‌خواستم بگم آقای پرستویی شما که از جامعه این همه کردیت میگیرید، این همه اعتبار
The mothers of Aban, which are the mothers who lost their son because of the Iranian government shot them.
میگیرید. الان صدای مثلا بچه‌های مثلا کودکان هیروشیما
Oh, so no, this is Ibrahim Zadeh. That's the guy who's speaking.
70 سال پیش بودید، از جنگ 30 سال پیش ایران عراق بودید. کی بناست به شما عزیزان هنرمند، نه تنها آقای پرستویی، همتون کی قرار صدای مادرای دادخواه آبان باشید؟ این همه آدم
Like he's asking them, when are you going to be the voice of the mothers of Aban?
نامدار اینجاست واقعا. یک بار از اعتبارتون این مادرای دادخواه یک بار از اعتبارتون استفاده بکنید.
Like use your credibility once to be the voice of these mothers.
این عزیزان بشید، اینا دارن هلاک میشن. مادر پویا بختیاری، ابراهیم کتابدار، محسن محمدپور، نوید افکاری، بیشمارن. طی 3 روز 1500 تا جوون ما رو توی آبان کشتن.
They killed 1,500 of our young in 3 days, the Iranian government, and you guys are not speaking about it.
کدوم یکی از شما تو شبکه‌های اجتماعی حداقل صداتون در اومده؟
Like which one of you spoke for them?
حدیث پرستویی در پاسخ به این معترض پرسید.
All right, so this is what this question is about, but I want to show you what another person did. So here's another person.
رجبی دو دختر مخالف
This is Sam Rajabi. He's also like outside of the movie theater questioning people who are going to the
جمهوری اسلامی دلیل اعتراض خود و همفکرانش به پرویز پرستویی
asking them if they support Qasem Soleimani or not.
را حمایت او از قاسم سلیمانی اعلام کرد و کسانی را که به این جلسه آمده بودند نادان، ناآگاه و منفعت طلب دانست.
This, by the way, this is going to escalate. Hold on. This is going to escalate. So they have the pictures of the people who died in Aban in Iran. The people who were killed by the Islamic Republic of Iran. And that's the picture. Okay, and that's the picture of that man with the Qasem Soleimani. And Qasem Soleimani, like they're saying he's a supporter of him. So because when he's a supporter of him, he's a supporter of the regime. And Qasem Soleimani is also somebody who's been dubbed as the killer of children because he has killed many children. Like, basically, they're questioning him. Are you a supporter of Qasem Soleimani? They call him a government celebrity. And he's like, now they're coming here and in America and they're like opening, a movie or something like that. I don't know what that means. But here's the problem. So the issue that the reason why a lot of people get extremely upset and offended about this is that these people get the support of the regime and do their bidding by spreading pro-regime propaganda, and they get all the money and fame from doing that work, and then they come to the United States and live American and luxurious lives. A lot of people that go to these movies also without speaking even a little bit in favor of the people that the government is oppressing, and they reap all the benefit, but all the people who are suffering under the regime, they don't get to like leave Iran and come to the US and live the lives that they have. So it's just so hypocritical that people are being crushed under the Islamic Republic, and the people who are benefiting from promoting the government that does that get to live lives or benefit from lives outside of Iran. That's why it's just so annoying, and that's why some activists want to go there and question them and be like, what the hell, right? Or bring shame to them. That's what they say. They want to make it not so easy. Like they want to make it so that people understand, the celebrities understand, if you dance to the tune of the Islamic Republic of Iran, you don't get to not be shamed. If you come to the United States, we will point out your hypocrisy. You will be outed and shamed. You don't get to just come here, think that you have all that credibility and all that fame, and you're just going to come here and live without people pointing out that you have what you have done, that you have been supporting terrorists. So when people were coming out of the movie, they were like going out and talking to people and asking them if they support Qasem Soleimani or not.
اما ایرانیان مقیم لس آنجلس که به جلسه نمایشی که قرار بود دلشان برای کشته‌های
But this specific woman said something that went viral because it was what she said was really bad. And like these are people that don't live like Islamic lives or don't live lives that are at all acceptable based on Islamic Republic standards, but yet they are like going to a movie or supporting people who support the Islamic Republic of Iran without having any care about the people who are being crushed under that regime, right? So that's why, you know, people are coming up to them and asking them what their, you know, what are their priorities, or do they even care? And this woman specifically in back, she said that if I cared about any of these people, I would have stayed in Iran. So that what she said went really viral because that's oh, she said if I wanted to care about these people, I would stay in Iran. And then he asks why are you here? If you care about them, why are you here? So that was pretty bad. Anyways, I want to show you. Yeah, hold on. So he's another like a musician. He's saying that's not none of my business. Anyways, there's so many examples of people saying stuff like this, but then it really escalated. Hold on, let me get you the escalation. Because they kept on going from one movie theater to another movie theater. They kept on going back to the same movie theater to movie theaters that were showing that movie, just to keep asking people and that celebrity, that movie maker, what the hell is going on, and why are you basically this guy, right? Hold on, this guy, and then so Parviz Parastui, but then hold on, look at this. This is, by the way, I'm about to talk to this guy Sam on the Persian channel in a couple of hours. But anyways, let me put this on double speed again. But here's how everything escalates. All right, so now it's when like this time he managed to get inside because he bought a ticket and he got inside. Like you can see there's a mix of people who wear the hijab and don't wear the hijab. Iranian. Okay, so that seems to be the daughter of the director. Alright, so now alright, so Sam is being very careful here, saying I have the right to ask him a question, and somebody's saying no, you don't have the right, because if you listen to the language he's using, he's not harassing, he's being very careful not to harass the man. Like, I'm just asking a question, I'm not harassing you. Like, why are you afraid of me? Look at his face. Like, he's saying, I just want to know what is your connection to Qasem Soleimani, and he's saying it's none of your business. Like, why is it none of my business? This is the question of millions of Iranians. He's like, you're not speaking like a human. I don't know what the hell that means. You're not speaking like a human. Okay, so we have a question in the live chat. I'm going to start it to answer it once I'm done with this question. Oh, did you see that? He hit his. All right, so that's what happened, and now they're going to pursue charges because of what just happened. Okay, because he hit him. So now he's being very now a lot of tension is coming at him because of he's like. They accused Sam of harassing, but he was actually the person who harassed him because he's the one who raised his hand. Anyway, so that's like that. Everybody, like, this is a major thing right now in Iranian social media, and a lot of people are like following every single bit of detail. And I could go into a lot more detail, but I'm not gonna, because unless people want it. But there's a lot to this. Okay, there's a lot of drama, and a lot of people are saying how is this man even able to go to the United States? Because he was like obviously a supporter of Qasem Soleimani. How is his visa approved? And that's what the question is also about. Well, I mean, we'll see. Like now that he hit somebody, now they're gonna press charges to just try to make sure that he's not able to come to the United States ever again. But there are people that were their visas to the United States was denied for even for having gone to mandatory military service in Iran, which they couldn't have avoided. So why is a person that has pictures with Qasem Soleimani? People are asking how the hell did he manage to get in, which is actually a pretty good question. I don't know. So, Perfect Dava is saying, Armin Navabi, are you ready to have a debate with me on MD modern day debates about Islam? Yes, I am. Perfect Dava, please email me at armin.navabi@gmail.com. Okay, so let me actually show you my name. Armin, you see right here, Armin. Okay, that would be then dot. It would be dot here, navabi@gmail.com. Email me about it. If you could arrange it, I would be more than happy to have a debate with you. Okay, so arrange it, and I'll gladly do that. Okay. There's that. Okay, so I answered the live chat question. All right, let's go to the next question. I answered this one. All right, so here's another question. What is these are Patreon questions, guys. If you want to ask Patreon questions for me to answer them, link to our Patreon is in the description. If you become a patron, I'll spend as much time as you want on answering your questions. Okay. Okay. So what is this? What is one good thing about the government of Islamic Republic of Iran? And it can't be back. Okay, so I know why this question is coming up, because we started a challenge a while back, because we wanted to make sure that people are not dogmatically against something, right? So there's no such thing as pure evil. Given that, but a lot of people, the way that they talk about Islamic Republic of Iran, I noticed that they got offended every time if we even suggest that they're not pure evil. And given that I tend to notice when people get offended, I think like we're having a cultish behavior or people are becoming too dogmatic. Then when people get offended, I just poke at what they're being offended, right? So we started a challenge on, like, it's impossible for the Islamic Republic of Iran not to have not done a single good thing. And I'm gonna have this challenge on the Persian channel as well, on Atheist Republic's Persian channel. So yeah, I mean, I had to go look because I couldn't come up with an example. I mean, we originally we cheated. We were saying like, well, the one good thing about the Islamic Republic is that it has made a lot of people leave Islam. So that's a neat trick because like it's a good thing that they have managed to do, but it wasn't intentional, right? So if people hear that, they're not going to get offended because they're like, oh yeah, sure. Like, okay, if you're not endorsing them, you're just saying like they unintentionally cause something good. But given that that's not going to offend people, the modification of the question is going to be, it can be something that is unintentional. So like here the rest of the question, it says, and it can be a backhanded compliment, like they're going they're they're good because they make people realize that theocracy is bad. It has to be authentic. I think instead of saying authentic, the best way to frame it is to say it has to be intentional. Okay. Oh, by the way, another thing, I saw Ibn Qayyam here. One thing else we're doing at Secular Jihadists, if there are any YouTube members here, YouTube members get to come up and talk to me if they want. But let me know if there's are anyone who is interested in that. Okay. But so again, patrons, just like in patrons get to ask their questions before they're live and we answer them. YouTube members get to come up and we could have a chat about anything they want. Okay. Perfect. That way, did you get my? Do you know? Here, for Perfect Dabo, by the way, this is my email if you want to email me about a debate. Soho did the work for you and just typed it in. Thank you so much, Soho. Anyways, let's go back to the question. So I obviously, given that I had to set up the challenge, I went and looked for something and I asked around because I didn't have an example myself, but I found a good thing that the Islamic Republic did, just in case So I will use this in the challenge because I want other people to bring other examples, just to make sure that we're not like being dogmatic about our opposition to the Islamic Republic of Iran. Okay, so here, this is, I think, as good of a source as you could get. It's UNICEF, but just in case if this is not good enough, I have I have another source for the same thing, right? But I'll show you both sources. Okay, so this is UNICEF supports polio vaccination for more than 500,000 children in Iran. So this is posted on UNICEF's website. But if you go look at the bottom here, it says, while the Islamic Republic of Iran, no, well, the Islamic Republic of Iran has been polio free for more than, no, that's not the part. Oh, yeah, it is. While the Islamic Republic of Iran has been polio free for more than 20 years, thanks to its successful national polio immunization, this particular type of oral polio vaccine is only recommended for use in certain areas of the above mentioned provinces. Okay, so according to UNICEF, the Islamic Republic of Iran has had a successful national polio immunization. So here's a very good example of something that the Islamic Republic of Iran has done, which is good. Intentionally has done something that is good. Okay. So, and again, I think this is a very credible source, but just in case some people do not believe, I think we have the WHO confirming that as well, right? Is this my WHO source? However, due to okay. Highly infectious. Okay, yes. After initiation of polio eradication program in 1888 by WHO, number of polio cases abruptly decreased. Okay, so yeah, the Islamic Republic of Iran did that with WHO. It was paralyzed near. Okay, so in 1988, polio paralyzed nearly 350,000 children annually worldwide, while in 2007, the program has been started in Iran since 1991 and based on high routine immunization coverage, robust acute, I don't know what these are, difficult words, very qualified, and very qualified supplementary immunization activities, which has been established and implemented in the country. I don't know if this is according to WHO, because this is the Iranian Journal of Public Health, and I just thought that this is like using a WHO source, so it's not. Okay, so never mind. This is, I don't know how credible this source is, but this source is pretty, I think, pretty credible. Anyways, I just think it's a good practice to just, if you think something is purely evil, to re-examine that black and white thinking of seeing something as purely bad or purely good, just in case, just to make sure that your beliefs are, not dogmatic. Okay. Oh, we have a live chat question here. Wait, perfect Dawa, I already answered that question. Why are you answering? Okay, never mind. Perfect Dawa, did you not see? Okay, Perfect Dawa, you're asking, were you away when I answered this? You're saying, Armin Avabi, are you ready to have a debate with me on MMD about Islam? I said yes. And I mentioned Soha already put the email for you to contact me. If you could arrange the debate, this is for the email for you to contact me. Did you not see my answer earlier? Okay. Ibn Qayyam is asking, do you think the kind of secularist governments we had in Turkey between the 1970s and 2000s was worse for women's rights compared to the moderate Islamist governments like Erdogan, who have helped liberate millions of women out of poverty by removing the restrictions on the hijab? P.S. Did you receive my email? No. What the hell? Okay, I'm gonna look for that email after the show. Sorry about that. Wait, Okay, I'm going to double check. Did you? Okay. Ibn Riyam, did you email me at armin.navabi@gmail.com? Okay, let me answer the question. Okay, so I'm going to answer the. Okay, so this is tough because I'm going to be accused of taqiyya now. I'm going to be like, oh my God, Armin is Islamism confirmed. Okay. Okay, I will get my secularist cred back by saying this is not really secularism. Okay. When based on what we consider to be secular, if a government comes and tells you that you cannot wear the hijab, that is government getting involved in religion, especially like in universities and stuff like that, right? That is I see that as a failure of non-secularism. I don't see that as a failure of secularism. The government shouldn't have any business telling you that you can't wear your hijab. Either mandating it or banning it is both of that is anti-secular. So I mean, I'm not pro Erdogan. Erdogan has done many things that are horrible, especially his economic policies, which are based on Islam, right? He himself admits that his really poor decision making in economics is influenced by Islam. So you could thank Islam for the current situation, economic situation in Turkey, a lot of it at least. So this is not an endorsement of him, but at least on this one case, allowing women to wear the hijab or not wear the hijab, I would say Erdogan was more secular than Ataturk. So a lot of people think like, oh, Ataturk is the secular one, and Erdogan is the Islamist one. But no, this is actually secular because the government shouldn't be mandating what women wear based on their belief or lack of belief. Ibn Qiyam is saying, telling Perfect Davo that I have watched a few of your debates on the Modern Day Debate channel. It would be good. It would be a good watch. It would be good to watch you have another convo with Armin. Yeah, I would love that. Yeah, I would love to do that if you can set it up. Okay, cool. Yeah, please email me. I would love to have a debate with you. X86 is saying there's a question of Pakistani Muslim. Can I ask? Yeah, of course you can ask it. Go ahead. Oh, here's a question. Except for the Taliban, what did the United States do? Afghanistan used to support terrorists in Pakistan against Iran. Answer this question. Answer this question, brother. Okay, if I want to answer this question, I have to first understand what the question is. Except for the Taliban, what did the United States do? What does that mean? What does that mean? Afghanistan used to support states. Do? Afghanistan used to support terrorists in Pakistan against Iran. Yeah, somebody else is saying, I don't get it. Can you reframe the question? Maybe it's not just me. Somebody else on Twitch is also saying that they don't understand it. So it's not just me, okay? Ibn Qiyam is saying, agreed. Oh, Ibn Qiyam is agreeing with my talk about discussion about that it's anti-secular to force women to remove their hijab. Agreed, the restrictions on hijab prevented hijabi women from going to university and entering government buildings to claim benefits, which resulted in 75% not having access to. Okay, honestly, if you want to fight Islam, educate women. Like seriously, like if you put any barriers to women getting educated, you're pretty much endorsing Islam. And honestly, like didn't Ataturk isn't he kind of responsible for the Islamization of Turkey? Like he gave secularization such a bad reputation, and well, the results kind of speak for themselves. I mean, it's basically the same thing almost with Reza Shah, forcing modernization and forced secularization, which is an oxymoron. Um, you know, and these in Iran, it actually the backlash was even bigger, which it resulted into the Islamic Republic coming back in power. You need, if you want to secularize or modernize or liberate people from religion, you have to work on education. The only way the government can push towards that is to invest in education. There's no other way for the government to be involved. The rest should be up to us. And so Ibn Qiyam is saying, since Erdogan's party came to power, the number of hijabis has reduced from 75% of women to 52%. It's interesting. I don't know if the correlation has suggests. I mean, correlations do suggest causation; they just don't prove causation. But I wonder if there's any causation, because also in Iran, the Islamic like a more extreme version of that is, look, you see, forced secularization causes Islamization, and forced Islamization causes secularization. Not only that, it actually causes atheism. The highest rate of creation of ex-Muslims in the world is happening in Iran because of the forced Islamization of the Islamic Republic of Iran. So we should learn from the mistakes of people who are forcing Islam down your throat by not forcing secularization down anyone's throat. Yeah, okay. So here's this question. Okay, saying this question, brother. Okay, brother. Let's see. Pakistani asks whether U.S. and India use Afghanistan to support terrorists inside Pakistan. Use Afghanistan. I don't understand. They don't. They use Afghanistan to support terrorists. Why would they support terrorists inside Pakistan? The United States is very worried about the destabilization of Pakistan because it's a country with nuke. The main problem they have with Pakistan is Pakistan supports for terrorist groups. They themselves are not supporting terrorist groups. Are you? I don't. I mean, for India, you might want to suggest that maybe a more radical Pakistan would be beneficial to the BGP because of security issues. Higher security issues for India will make the BGP more relevant. Every time there's a foreign threat from Pakistan to India, BGP's numbers go up and they do better. So you might want to argue that. But I do encourage, so I do encourage to not talk about India as if it's one thing. Like I forget myself sometimes, because right now I say the BJP, not the entirety of India, because India doesn't want more terrorists in Pakistan. Okay, here Ibn Qiyam is decoding the question for me. Ibn Qiyam is saying, I think he is talking about the spillover of the Taliban, but I agree, USA does not want an unstable Pakistan. Okay, then I guess I answered the question. All right, here's another question on Patreon. Oh my God, this is going to be very interesting. Okay, Patreon question. Again, guys, if you want to ask me your questions, become a patron. Link is in the description. Your questions will get priority, and I will, before the show, I will go look into your questions and have better answers for it, right? If you ask your questions live on air, I might not have a good answer, but if you ask it beforehand, I will look into it, okay? All right, so here's the question. I'm going to... Tell me everything you know about how Mossad forced a confession out of a planned IRGC assassination during an interrogation in his own apartment in Tehran. What the hell? What do you think about the implications of a foreign nation, let alone Israel, carrying out an operation like this outside of their own borders? Okay, so for people who don't know, Mossad, which is the intelligence agency in Israel, for some people who might not know, has claimed to carry out an operation, which is, if it's true, and I will show you why it seems like it's true. They have managed to carry out operations that, if it's true, it's it's the first of its kind in the history of intelligence operations. Okay, so and I will show you some videos. Okay, but Mossad, again, and this is not something that other people, conspiracy theories, are saying. Israel itself has released this and confirmed this. The claim seems to be that there was the IRGC, okay, the armed forces in Iran were planning, had this person to go to Turkey and Europe to assassinate a few Iranians outside of Iran's border. And Mossad stopped it. So far, the story is not new. Mossad has been successfully stopping operations like this all the time. The difference about this story is that they stopped it before the man left Iran. They stopped it. Mossad arrested and interrogated the man in Iran, in his house. I want you to take a few seconds to comprehend what I'm just telling you, okay? Mossad agents went to Iran, arrested a man in his house before he even left Iran to carry out his operations, and got a confession out of him and released the confessions. Okay? Let me show you some videos about this, okay?
انتشار خبر اختصاصی ایران اینترنت.
Hold on. If this is true, it's unbelievable. Okay? Like, you're not like, if you're working for the Islamic Republic of Iran, basically Mossad is telling you that you're not even safe inside Iran. You're not even safe inside of your house. Like, we're coming for you even before you leave Iran. All right, let me actually see if I could put this in double speed because you guys don't understand.
نشنال درباره طرح سپاه پاسداران برای انجام 3 ترور در ترکیه، فرانسه و آلمان با بازتاب‌های مختلفی در.
All right, so apparently the man was supposed to fly out from leave Tehran and go to Istanbul
در اسرائیل بسیاری از رسانه‌ها با باز
and Germany and France.
نشر خبر ایران اینترنشنال از جزئیات بیشتری درباره خبر دادند. کانال 13 تلویزیون اسرائیل گفته فردی که قرار بود این ترورها را انجام دهد، یک قاچاقچی مواد مخدر از کسب اینترنشنال از جزئیات بیشتری درباره آن خبر دادند. کانال 13 تلویزیون اسرائیل گفته فردی که قرار بود.
So they confirmed this in Israel on channel 13 of Israel.
ترورها انجام دهد، یک قاچاقچی مواد مخدر از سوی سپاه پاسداران برای انجام این ترورها استخدام شده بود. این شبکه تلویزیونی اسرائیل گفته 5 ماه پیش ماموران موساد سازمان اطلاعاتی و
So this has been released just now, like a week ago, but apparently the interrogation happened 5 months ago in Tehran.
جاسوسی اسرائیل موفق شدند در تهران منصور رسولی هاشم آباد را که قرار بود این ترورها.
So the name of the man is Mansour what?
اسرائیل گفته 5 ماه پیش ماموران موساد سازمان اطلاعاتی و جاسوسی اسرائیل موفق شدند در تهران منصور رسولی هاشم آباد را
Mansour Rasuli Hashemabad, that's his name.
قرار بود این ترورها را انجام دهد شناسایی کرده و وارد خانه او شدند و اعترافات او درباره این طرح ترور را ضبط کردند.
So they went to his house and they recorded him. I'm going to get more confirmation that this story is true, but just a second. So that's the man. That's the man, and this is the recording that Mossad got from him.
استانبول ترکیه که اسرائیلی بود. این نفرم گفتن ژنرال آمریکایی تو آلمان. یکی هم گفتن
Okay, so the people that he's supposed to assassinate. By the way, YouTube, I'm not advocating for assassinating anybody. We're just reporting the
انجام
news.
دهد شناسایی کرده و وارد خانه او شدند و اعترافات او درباره این طرح ترور را ضبط کردند.
سه نفر به من گفتن یکی تو
So he's saying on this audio recording that the Islamic Republic of Iran told him to kill 3 people.
تو سفارت استانبول ترکیه که اسرائیلی بود.
An Israeli man in the embassy in Istanbul. I thought Israeli embassies would be in Ankara.
و اعترافات او درباره این طرح ترور را ضبط کردند.
سه نفر به من گفتن یکی تو سفارت استانبول ترکیه که اسرائیلی بود. این نفرم گفتن ژنرال آمریکایی تو آلمان.
And a general in Germany.
یکی هم گفتن یه نفر روزنامه‌نگار روزنامه‌نویس تو فرانسه.
and newspaper journalists in France. Okay, so I don't know if these people here supposed to kill were Iranians or not.
این سه نفر برای جمهوری اسلامی
At least one of them was Israelis, and the Germany general, that's not Iranian
ترور
either.
میکنیم. روی روش موندن که حتما انجام بشه. حتما
And they were like very insistent that these people need to be eliminated.
ترور بشه. اون فرانسوی رو الانم که مثلا میخوان که انجام بشه این ترورش. همین الانم.
Like he's saying the Frenchman, the French journalist that they want assassinated, they still want that man to be assassinated, even as of right now.
ولی خب من اشتباه کردم از کرده خودم.
And he say, I made a mistake. I'm sorry.
هیچ اقدامی هم انجام نخواهم داد.
I'm not gonna do this. I promise you, I'm not gonna.
از این لحظه به بعد قسم میخورم به جون مادرم.
He's like, I swear to my mother's name that I'm not gonna carry out these assassinations. Oh my God.
به جون دخترم، به جون خانواده‌ام.
And in the name, I swear to my mother's life, to my daughter's life, to my family's life, that I'm not gonna do this.
اشتباهی شده از طرف من. دیگه این اشتباه ابدا تکرار نخواهد شد.
Like this was my mistake, and this mistake will never happen again.
اما گزارش این شبکه تلویزیونی اسرائیل یک زاویه جدید و مهم دیگر این ماجرا را بیان می‌کند با اینکه موساد باز هم موفق شده در درون ایران وزیر چشم سرویس‌های اطلاعاتی 17 گانه جمهوری
Like this news shows how Mossad manages to come to Iran and under the eye of the Iranian intelligence and police and everything just comes in and does this and just leaves.
یک عملیات جدید داشته باشد. موساد پیش از این عملیات‌های مشابه و
Anyways, I'm going to show you one thing that kind of confirms more that this story is not has some level of legitimacy is
در واکنش به افشاگری
okay. So here's what kind of confirms it to a greater degree. Okay, by the way, Troel is saying, Mossad to IRGC, you're not even safe on your own prayer rug. Actually, Troel, they kind of said something very similar. They told the Iranian officials that we are closer to you than you think, which resembles very much to a Quranic verse, because in the Quran, Allah says to the reader of the Quran that we're closer to you than your jugular vein. So what Mossad had said to Iranian officials very much resembles the Quranic verse in wording. Like closer to you than you realize, basically. But let me start these. I see questions coming in the live chat. I'm starting them to get to them. But here, look at this one. So this is kind of a confirmation by the Islamic Republic of Iran, kind of indirect confirmation. Hold on.
ایران اینترنشنال درباره تلاش سپاه پاسداران برای انجام 3 ترور در خاک اروپا فردی که خود را منصور رسولی معرفی می‌کند در پیام
So 5 months ago the interrogation happened. Last week Israel released the audio, and now just I think yesterday the man that was interrogated came up with a video and said that I was forced to give, like, I wasn't planning to assassinate anybody. They forced me to say those things. And basically the Islamic Republic Iran's media published that. So by publishing that, guess what happens when the Islamic Republic of Iran's position is that they force them to say that? What are they doing? Because hold on.
گفت یکی از تیم‌های زورگی رو بوده و وادار به زدن آن حرف شد.
منصور رسولی هستم.
That's him again. So now that's the same person. He's saying like, oh, I wasn't planning to assassinate anybody. They forced me to say those things.
تیم‌های زورگی فرار گرفتم. ششای بنده گاز اشکاور زدن. دستامو بستن، چشامو بستن، سرم گونی قرار گرفت گذاشتن. بنده رو
Anyways, I'm not going to go through everything he said, but basically what this means is, okay, you're saying on Daryl on Twitch is saying sounds like damage control. Yes, but it's also confirming that Mossad did this, because nothing that the Islamic Republic of Iran released was a denial of Mossad agents coming and interrogating this guy. So even if it's true that this man was not planning to assassinate anybody, we can't know, right? The fact is now we know, even according to the Islamic Republic of Iran's narrative, that that Mossad has the ability to just come in and do this and leave, which is insane. That they like, can you show me in the history of intelligence operations somebody just coming in and like, I don't know, maybe there is actually, I don't know, but this is pretty badass. And now we have the approval of like the the stamp of legitimacy by Islamic Republic as well. Like, okay, sure, you're not denying, you're denying the part that the man was supposed to assassinate somebody, but you're not denying the Mossad coming in and doing this interrogation part. Okay, so that's okay. I'm gonna start more questions. I see more questions coming, and also let me refresh this here. Okay. Okay, let's go to some start questions now. Ex-atheist is saying, will you debate to Pakistani Muslim Amir Haq? Yes, please get them to email me at armin.navabi@gmail.com and I will debate them. How about that? Is that good? They would have to contact me to arrange it, okay? I also, Ibn Qiyam also, I need to look for his email because I don't know, I haven't received an email from him. Here's another question. Devon Tayyib Raja is asking, found something interesting based on the Quran. It's Quran 33, Surah 33, Ayah 36. It says, it seems the Quran is committing blasphemy against itself. Can this be used as a valid point against Islam? I don't know. Let me see what the verse is. Hold on. Give me a second. Quran 33, 36. Okay. It says, it is not for a believing man or woman when Allah and his messengers decree a matter to have any other choice in that matter. Indeed, whoever disobeys Allah and his messenger has clearly gone far astray. How is this blaspheming against itself? It is not for a believing man or woman. I don't see your point. Yeah, I don't see it. Somebody explain that to me. Oh yeah, and also here's my email if anybody wants to debate. Wait, hold on. There was a question from Atheist Day. I don't see it. Let me see. Ali Hamad. Hold on one second. I should be. Oh yeah, I see it. What is bigger? Okay, what is a bigger threat to progress? Disinformation or echo chambers? Okay, echo chambers are a threat to progress because they encourage disinformation. So these two are connected. What is the problem with echo chambers? It's the best place for disinformation to grow. So I don't think one excludes the other. Okay, let me do a live chat question. Ibn Qiyam is saying the GDP per capita of Bangladesh has surpassed both India and Nigeria. What are they doing right? Capitalism, I'm assuming. I have to look into it, but I don't know about Nigeria. Okay, so I don't know about Nigeria because Nigeria might have been already below Bangladesh. Might have been already below Bangladesh, like, and hasn't caught up to it yet. But for India was. Correct me if I'm wrong. So we can't judge Nigeria, okay? Because Nigeria might be doing a great thing as well. Oh no, you're saying has suppressed. I don't know. Okay, so maybe it's past both of them. What are they doing right? Okay, I don't know, but if I had to guess, lower regulations and opening your markets to outside, making it friendly for global markets to just enter your economy and invest. That's what I'm thinking it is. Also, I'm not always against all regulations because I'm just against regulations that makes doing business unnecessarily difficult. But there are certain types of regulation that makes business a lot better, actually. Like regulations that make creates safer environments and creates standards for everybody to abide by, that makes relationships between different entities a lot easier because they're all abiding by the same standard, and also create better working conditions for people. So those regulations, not a lot of people who are just like dogmatically pro-capitalist don't understand that some regulations actually are pro-business. But I'm assuming that just like breaking barriers and opening doors and letting the world to just come in and do their work, and increasing competition between different between major organizations for your workforce probably has had a major impact on your GDP per capita growth. And I'm guessing this without having looked into it, so my guess could be completely wrong, but this is my guess, and let me know if it's a good guess or a bad guess. Oh, okay. Let me bring this verse again. So you're saying this is shirk because it's saying it is not for a believing man or woman when Allah and his messengers decree a matter. No, this is not shirk, because it's not saying, it's not suggesting that you should worship a messenger. The messenger has the word of Allah with him. This is not shirk. When you're listening to a messenger decree a matter, he's only carrying the message of Allah. It's not his own words. So no, this is not shirk. Nice try though. Somebody's asking, why Islamic people, you mean Muslims? There's a word for that. Okay, why Islamic people worship black stone in Kaaba? They don't worship it. They just use it to spread disease, but they don't worship it. I mean, maybe it looks like they're worshiping it, but at least they don't claim to be worshiping it. Yeah, they just kiss it, and then other people come kiss it, and they just spread germs. I've seen recently they realized that this is such a bad idea. For after many years of using the stone to spread disease, I saw a video of somebody like standing right on top of it, and as soon as somebody kiss it, they spray it and wipe it. So that's the new thing. That's progress. There you go. Bojack is saying, a very important question. Why do you program so regularly despite the extremely small audience? It's okay. I like the small audience. I mean, I would also like the bigger audience, but small audience makes it okay. For example, if I did this on Atheist Republic, there would be somewhat bigger audience, okay? But coming to Secular Jihadists makes it a little bit cozy because there's less people here, so I could just like chill and relax. And also it diversifies because YouTube is so unpredictable. If just coming here, even though it has a smaller audience, if it eventually, like after years, it gets to a place where it's closer to Atheist Republic, it will be if Atheist Republic gets removed by YouTube one day, at least we slowly built Secular Jihadists to a place where it's a plan B kind of situation. Also, I talk on Secular Jihadists, I talk about things that it's not the theme of Atheist Republic, right? So that gives me an excuse to be able to. I also like talking about these things, so I have an outlet to talk about it here. But yeah, I mean, if you want it to grow, we could like the video. That helps grow the channel. Also, it gives you more access to my answers, because the less of the audience, on Atheist Republic, sometimes we don't answer all the questions, but here, because there's less people, there's a better chance for your answers to get highlighted, right? So there's less competition for questions. Okay. Okay, I already answered that. Oh, Darko is a member. If you are a member, let me know if you want me to post a link to members to come up and just talk to me live. Yeah, so if you're a YouTube member here, you get to come up and talk to me live on air and talk, just with a camera and video, audio, or if you want just audio only, and we could have a chat. So let me know if there are any members here who would like that, and I will post the link on the community tab. Okay, I have a whole bunch of questions here. See, even with you're like, oh, it's such a small audience. Yeah, but I'm already getting more questions than I'm supposed to finish in 1 hour. Even with such a small audience, we're getting enough questions to be able to fill a whole hour. So, anyways, I have to answer the last patron question. Oh, I should have had this link ready. Hold on 1 second. I'll answer this one quick. Okay, what do you think of the sharply rising bread prices in Iran and the shortage of nane sangak? Oh, nane sangak, which is a type of bread in Iran. It's such a staple of the Iranian diet. Journalists are saying that it could cause serious unrest. Masih Alinejad is reporting that the internet is getting cut in places in Afwas. Yeah. So people are back in the streets in Iran and protesting. And this time it's about bread prices rising. And the thing with bread prices rising in Iran is that it targets the poor more than other prices rising. Like if fuel prices rising was because a lot of people in Iran can't afford to have a car. So when fuel prices increase, it's a tax on the middle class, right? But now that the bread prices are increasing, that's a huge cost on the lower class because it's a huge cost to the poor people because relative to other people, the bread prices are a bigger percentage of the expenses of poor people. So this is going to really hit poor people bad, and people are saying that it could get even worse, right? It could get a lot worse than it is right now, and already we're saying stuff like this because our bread prices increasing. So the link that you see here goes to Masih Alinejad's Instagram account with this video of people. And apparently there are shootings happening, and they cut the internet so that less people can report on the protests happening, so it doesn't get international coverage. But hey, we're covering here, so maybe you guys should like the video so that more people see the stuff like this, right? So they're shooting, people are in the street. Yeah, but because the internet gets cut, a lot of the videos don't make it out until the whole protests are over, and by then it's already too late for the world to pay attention. So there's that. Oh, Bojack is saying, as always, you answered well. Oh, thank you, Bojack. I appreciate that. Maybe leave a like then. So if you think I answered well. Guys, leave a like so our channel grows a little bit. Okay, so I answered the last Patreon question. Now let's finish the live chat questions and then head out. I already answered that one. Was my guess good? Has anybody looked at why Bangladesh GDP per capita is rising? Because I just guess. I have no idea. And if my guess is correct, that is pretty impressive. I mean, actually, it's a pretty safe bet, I think. It's obvious. Asif is saying, Iran also supports terrorists in Pakistan, Baluchi people. What do you think about that? I don't know exactly which groups I wouldn't be surprised because it's not Iran, it's the Islamic Republic of Iran. Let's be more fair. But I wouldn't be surprised because that's what they do. That's what the main export of the Islamic Republic of Iran is not oil, it's terrorism. But are you talking about their crackdown on Baluchi separatists? Because the Islamic Republic of Iran is very, very more than if between separatists and anti-Islam activists, the Islamic Republic of Iran will be, targeting separatists by 1,000 times more aggression than anybody that wants to question or even ridicule Islam. That is their main fear. Okay, so I wouldn't be surprised if they are doing anything. They're doing things to crush any Baluchi activism. Hey, by the way, crushing Baluchi activism, YouTube, I'm not saying anything bad about Baluchi people, okay? I'm just talking about analyzing other people's actions. Okay, there's more questions that I need to tag. Okay, Ibn Qiyam. Ibn Qiyam is saying, should YouTube be consistent with their terms of service and ban the likes of Ali Dawa and Daniel Haqiqatjou in the same way they do other far-right personalities? I mean, should I talk about what is the best for YouTube, what is best for us, or what is the best for the world? These are different questions. Whatever is best for YouTube, they're probably doing it because what they're doing is exactly what is the best for YouTube, because they have better access to the best information on what is best for YouTube. So yeah, you don't have to guess much what is best for YouTube. It's exactly what they're doing. Okay. What is best for us is to not ban any of it, so that we could have access to them and we could analyze them and criticize them, so for people to see why they're bad ideas. What is best for the world, I have no idea, actually. Yeah, I don't know. I have to... would them being removed be a more effective way of stopping the spread of harm than us being able to criticize it? Honestly, I have no idea, because I don't have access to a utilitarian calculation machine. I just know if they're there, it's a good thing to criticize it. But I don't know. I think like the precedent you set for being censorial could potentially has way more harm than good. But I might be saying that from an ideological... I might be because I'm a pro free speech, I'm pro the exchange of ideas and anti-censorship. I might be biased in my analysis of this. I might be like being like this conclusion of mine of letting people just speak and we criticize it. This might be extremely biased based on my pro dialogue ideology rather than an actual unbiased objective analysis of that shows that this is the best method. Like, this is something I've recognized. Like, I've been, a lot of our anti-censorial attitudes, including mine, has been based on no data. It's just, maybe it's just based on our bad experience with censorship. Maybe we're just butthurt because we've been censored, and instead of actually objectively looking at whether this is a good or bad idea, because we've been butthurt over being censored, we have just convinced ourselves that censorship is just bad. I don't know, but like, now that you think about it, like, where have I seen the data to show that? I don't know. So I'm just being skeptical about it. There's a chance that stopping these ideas on major platform is actually the best thing for the world. I don't know. I can't be sure about that, whether it is or not. I'm just being honest with you guys here. I'm just showing you that I'm trying to be skeptical about things that was our deeply held belief. Like, being anti-censorial was a deeply held belief of mine, and now sometimes like have to rethink those, and this is one of them. Again, I'm not claiming censorship is a good thing. I'm just saying, like, I can't be as certain as I pretended to be before. Okay, there's more questions that I need to highlight. Oh, Darka is saying fair enough. Oh, thank you. Norse mythology is saying that one never stops. Okay. Cool. Thank you to Darko and North Mythology for being members, by the way. I appreciate that. Okay. Ibn Qiyam, let me know if that was a good answer or what do you think? All right. Is there a possibility to see another? Okay, so let me actually read the name of the person who's asking. Movie Maker 656 is asking, is there a possibility to see another revolution in Iran, this time to establish secularism? If yes, when could we see this? I would say, based on things how things are right now, the chances of that is close to zero. But you have to also understand that things could change dramatically. Like no one saw Trump coming, no one saw COVID coming. So there are small events that could happen that drastically changes the nature of things that are the way they are in such fundamental ways. No one saw. I mean, I shouldn't say no one. Few people. Again, for all these, few people saw COVID coming because I guess Bill Gates did. Few people saw Trump coming, and few people saw like Putin attacking Ukraine, like a year before it happened. But given how things are right now, the chances of a revolution in Iran that topples the government, let alone leads to secularism, are extremely low. But things can change, right? Also, like a revolution in Iran that topples the current regime does not necessarily lead to secularism. In a power vacuum, the people who will take charge are most likely the people that are the most organized, have the most followers that are willing to pay a high price for their beliefs, have the most experience in armed conflict, and have the highest amount of access to resources. Wow, I just came up with those. These are the four conditions. Well, that was a pretty good list, actually. And given those four conditions, if the regime falls, what would replace it would be another Shia Islamic government. Maybe not even one that pretends to be republic anymore. Instead of the Islamic Republic of Iran, you might have the Islamic, I don't know, the Islamic Iran, Islamic tyranny of Islamic, I don't know, whatever they want to call it. They might be like, let's just get rid of this republic. We didn't like it anyways, right? We didn't even like pretending. I mean, think about it. And also, you don't need the highest number of followers, okay? You need the highest number of followers, more number of followers that are willing to give blood for the cause. And even though more people in Iran are in favor of secular democracy than they are Shia tyranny or theocracy, the people who are there are a higher percentage of the people who are for a Shia theocracy are more like there are a higher percentage of those people that are willing to die for that cause, simply because they believe in martyrdom. And these are a lot of these people have been involved in a lot of armed conflict, and they know how to fight, and they are a lot more organized. Like the opposition in Iran is pathetically unorganized and not united, and they haven't even been able to organize, to manage their own organizations, the oppositions, without splitting and having infightings after a week after their foundation. So let alone being a major challenge to the Islamic Republic of Iran, right? But Shia, not only the Shia groups and Shia militias, many Shia militias are ready to come and die for Khamenei himself, right? I mean, out of the 80 million Iranians, based on stats, there's like 16 million of them who, I think 16 million, who are in favor of the Islamic Republic of Iran. Out of these 16 million, if I don't know, like 1 million of them say that they're ready to die for the Islamic Republic, I'm just making it. I don't know what percentage of them say that, but let's say 1 million. Like and out of this 1 million, let's say 10% of them actually would, that would leave like 100,000 people. This is the minimum. This is a very conservative number. 100,000, at least 100,000 Iranians that are willing to sacrifice their lives for keeping an Islamic regime alive. And just remember, I think if I remember correctly, ISIS at its height had 40,000 members. So 100,000, Shia militias, and that's not including Kata'ib Hezbollah and Hashd al-Shaabi and the Fatimiyun and Hezbollah and all these militias that would be willing to come to Iran to defend the Islamic Republic. These would be just from inside Iran. I mean, that would be very messy. So if the regime falls in Iran, based on the way things are, the two most likely scenarios is either another Shia regime that will replace it, or I don't know, 1 or 2 decades of civil war with no guarantee of what comes after it. So that's an unfortunate situation right now. Again, I don't know. Things could change dramatically. None of what I said is guaranteed. Things could be very different. Like turn out to be very different. But this is how I see it, which could be completely wrong. Anyways. Wow, so many questions coming. Okay, I'm going to start the questions. Okay. Okay. Sorry, that was a bit depressing. And Nikki saying, aren't you afraid that some random lover of Allah will take you hand down whenever and wherever they got a chance? Well, I wasn't until I don't know what that means, but I'm worried right now. Thank you so much. Okay. I am afraid now. Good. Are you happy? I don't know what this means, but yeah. Okay. Ex-atheist Pakistani is saying Pakistani Muslims say that nothing happens in atheism. They say that in these atheists you can beating your wife inconsistently. Okay, so the question I think is like, if you're an atheist, that means you can beat your wife just whenever you want, as opposed to the way the Quran teaches. I'm assuming that the Quran teaches you that you could beat your wife if you fear that she's going to be disobedient. Actually, it doesn't say you can. It says you must after taking 2 other steps. But you're saying atheism will allow you to just beat your wife whenever, okay? Well, the thing is that atheism doesn't allow or disallow you to do anything, because atheism is just a lack of belief in God. Atheism lets you beat your wife as much as a lack of belief in leprechauns lets you beat your wife. We don't use atheism as a way for us to restrict actions that are harmful. We use other methods, right? We use other tools, other ways of evaluating what's ethical and what's not ethical, and what things should be banned or shouldn't be banned, or what ways will encourage a more prosperous and happy life and what doesn't. Okay, atheism is nothing but a lack of belief in God. It doesn't give you a path towards a healthy moral life. It just tells you that some belief in one, it's just a lack of belief. It has no solutions to you. It's something that some other people are saying is true. You're looking and you don't believe it. That's all it does. It's not supposed to do more than that. It can't, because it's not supposed to. Oh, somebody's saying I love you, Armin. Oh, thank you. I was gonna, maybe I would love you too if I knew you. But see, I'm being so honest. But thank you for loving me. Okay. Let me just go through. I need to go soon, so I'm just going to go through the questions. Hey, Jim is here. Jim is asking, do you think that in countries like Iran, happening a a revolution is happening before the cultural revolution? Wait, what is happening? There's a word missing in this question. So, a political revolution is happening before a cultural one. And can that make the situation worse? Well, okay, I think a cultural revolution and a political revolution is happening at the same time. People are becoming a lot more liberal and a lot less religious. So the cultural revolution is happening, and the political revolution is also happening. There's a whole bunch of, like, the reformers have been weakened, and the hardliners are now having a major infighting with each other. And there's different segments of the IRGC that are trying to grab for power, and the hardliners in the office of presidency are now having major issues with hardliners in the parliament or Majlis. So there's a Raisi versus Ghalibaf fight that is happening, and there's also a fight for the successions of, in the seat of the supreme leader. There's a lot of infighting happening between the hardliners. So all of that is happening, and there seems to also be a shift from taking power away from the people with the turbans to the people with the boots, as they say. Like there's a shift of power between going away from religious authority to military authority. It's a very slow shift, but it's pretty visible. So all of this is happening, but none of these revolutions seems to be one that could topple the government. It's just changing things. It's just changing the nature of things, but not one that could break things to the point where the government falls. But yeah, the gap between the people's beliefs and the government's beliefs is becoming wider and wider at an accelerated rate. Like, people are becoming so liberal at such a pace that is unbelievable. Never mind. Are you going to say something? You could get me in trouble. Oh my God, there's so many questions. Okay, I need to answer faster. Okay, Ali saying, if censorship is hiding the truth, is censorship good? Well, no, not if it's hiding the truth. But we were wondering if censorship could sometimes be effective if it's stopping misinformation from spreading. We were just wondering. I don't know. Ibn Qiyam saying, it was very nuanced answer. Oh, thank you. Oh, I appreciate it. I think people such as Ali Dawah and Daniel have access to large audience, which they would not have without platforms such as YouTube. Yeah, again, it's very hard to make a cost-benefit analysis, right? Because, the benefit could also be like having access to it and being able to dissect it. What is the benefit from that? Is that measurable? Norse Mythology, who's a member, thank you for being a member. Guys, you could be a member. Right next to the subscribe button, there's a join button that you could turn, that will turn you into a YouTube member. So I will appreciate that if you do that. Again, don't do it if you're struggling financially. Norse Mythology is saying, Ali Dawah is one of the few who tend not to ban us. I have had some very spirited conversations there with Muslims. Oh, that's good. Well, here, we could say something good about Ali Dawah. He doesn't ban you in the live chat. If that's true, I don't know. Nikki saying, what's that chipmunk behind you? Nanny cam? This chipmunk? This is my mom's favorite doll. One of the dolls that she had with her in the hospital. One of the two dolls that she had with her in the hospital when she had cancer and before she died. They got we call him Big Eye. I read your book. You said that there is life after death. I did not say that. Read it again. You said that a man was in coma. He heard some voices. That is not the same as saying a man, there's life after death. Hey, that was fast. Oh, the chipmunk is very cute. Thank you. Yeah, big guy. Okay. Did you hear Egypt's highest court has upheld a life sentence against Muhammad Badi, the former leader of the Muslim Brotherhood, following trials condemned as a sham by a rights group? I did not know that. Susanna, if you're watching this, maybe this should be something that we cover on the news segment on Atheist Republic. But thank you for bringing this to our attention. Interesting. Thank you for that, Emilio. Friendly Muslim saying, what changes need to happen in Iran, and what support do people need from the West or outside of Iran to support everyday people in Iran? What changes need to happen in Iran for what outcome? For toppling the government or just improving people's lives? I'm going to assume you mean just to improve people's lives. I think the main thing that, okay, switching to alternative energies other than fossil fuels faster, and making satellite internet available in Iran. Those are the two main things. Not the natural resources, especially if it's oil and gas, is a curse upon a country that doesn't have a strong democratic foundation, because it shifts the power away from the people to a centralized authority that does not rely on people's income or taxes, and therefore it's not going to have to be accountable to them. Black oil just gushing out of the ground makes for stable dictators, because having policy that favors trade or people's freedom or people demanding their rights, you don't really have to take that much into account when you have such amount of oil and gas, right? So being able to take that away from governments like the Islamic Republic of Iran or the Saudi government in Saudi Arabia will do, it's not just beneficial to save the planet, but also it's a security issue, and it's also a human rights issue. So yeah, just push your politicians to invest in green energy more. That's one thing. Easier access to information and being able to go around government filters is very important right now in Iran, especially because they're trying to replace the current, because right now there's the internet in Iran. They block websites that they don't want, but people can use, I don't know, VPNs or filter breakers, as they call it, to get around them. So the government instead has slowed down internet to such a degree where people, it's becoming insane. The internet in Iran is very bad. But the next step is for them to use a Chinese model, which is going to be very difficult for them, and some people say impossible to them to do because they don't have the infrastructure or the resources to do that. But their goal is to create an internal internet with only few people with license having access to the outside world, which is internal internet is an oxymoron as well. It's a contradiction because I think from the internet comes from international. So the whole idea of an internal, like national internet, I think it's self-contradictory, but they're basically, I think it should be intranet instead. I don't know. But they're trying to create basically a system where it's basically within the country and you don't have access to the outside world. and they're trying their best to create that system. So it's very important to be able to, I don't know, use Starlink or whatever Amazon is coming up with. And I heard another company is also getting into the satellite business. And I know right now the government, is hard to make it accessible to people. Like, I know at some point in satellite internet is going to be able to provide internet to an area, even if you don't have satellites directly above it. Even close above the country would be enough. And the devices that you need to be able to get connected to the satellite internet will eventually get smaller and smaller and smaller, maybe potentially even as small as your cell phone. But the sooner you get there, the sooner like Iranian people or even Chinese people or Saudi people just have unlimited access to the internet and be able to connect with each other and spread ideas without the government getting in between. That will push the cultural revolution in Iran forward by decades. So pushing for that would be amazing. Like maybe pushing Elon Musk, like bothering Elon Musk because I remember Elon Musk specifically responded to a tweet by an Iranian that would you do anything with your Starlink that would give us access to internet without filters? And he responded, I'll look into it. I don't know if he's able to, because I don't know, Elon Musk has promised certain things that never happen, but if it's possible, then it should be looked into. Oh yeah, so intranet they will call it. Okay, yeah, so it is intranet. Norse mythology is saying authoritarian regimes and religious ideologies are fully loaded with oxymorons. True. Okay. Oh, so yeah, Lee Spainer is watching us from Twitch. By the way, you could follow Atheist. This is being streamed on Atheist Republic's Twitch account as well, just in case you don't know. Okay. Let me answer Thank you, Lee. All right. I need to get these questions answered. Wow, the questions are growing faster than... Okay. Troll is saying, as Matt Dillahunty would say, atheism is the response position to theist claims, essentially. I don't believe this SHIT. Exactly. That's just basically what it is. All right. So 2 questions from Movie Maker 656. All right. Firstly, is the government of Iran aware that people there are becoming less religious? Yes. Short answer, yes. They are very, very aware of it, and they are very, very afraid of it. And secondly, has a random person ever recognized you in public? Yes. Unfortunately. I don't want to give more details for security reasons. Troll is saying, I'll just let you know that it was in Israel at the worst possible time. Okay, I think. Okay. Troll is saying, perfect note on Mother's Day, Armin. Thank you. You're talking about the big guy here. Thank you. And Norse mythology is saying, today is Mother's Day. Thank you to all the excellent mothers out there that have raised your children properly. Good that you were specific, because you weren't thanking all mothers, because there's also a lot of horrible mothers out there that should not be thanked on Mother's Day. So do not say Happy Mother's Day, and do not say like, do not assume. I mean, even bad mothers should be happy, but I'm just saying, do not assume that motherhood is just a good thing in general. Okay, we have good mothers and we have bad mothers, and make sure that on Mother's Day you don't make people who had bad mothers feel like they're left out because they don't get to celebrate that day. Like, maybe, like, I remember some people saying like, oh, I'm on this Mother's Day, I want to tell people who had bad mothers that you're not alone. I have had similar experiences and stuff like that. And I think that was nice, because a lot of people who have had really horrible experiences with their mother might feel like left out, like everybody's like loving their mom and they had such horrible experiences. So maybe like give a shout out to them as well, right? That you're not alone. Other people have had similar experiences, and don't feel alone on Mother's Day. But yeah, I do like this message by Norse mythology. Asif saying there is a Mufti Yasser Nadim Al from India who has made a video on your whole book. What do you think about it? Well, yeah, I mean, maybe the person would be interested in having a debate. If they're interested, again, let them know that they could email me at armin.navobi@gmail.com. Okay. By the way, I don't do debates on email. Like if I see some people send me an essay and then they think I have enough free time to read it and then analyze it and respond to it. If you want to email me, just like tell me who you are and schedule, like say, like where do you want to schedule a debate or something like that. Okay. Oh, okay. Is the ex-Muslim community growing? Yes, by exponentially. Troll saying Elon Musk sent a whole bunch of Starlink equipment to Ukraine, which they are now using to kick Russia's. Well, don't say to kick Russia's, ASS, because let's say to say Putin, okay? Because I want to make sure that Russian people don't feel like we're anti-Russia. Norse mythology is asking, will there be violence if the Iranian regime refuses to give up its nuclear program? I mean, there's already violence. What do you mean? Like, would there be, depends on what you mean by violence. Will there be outright direct conflict? Direct war, like head-to-head war? I don't know. Probably not, unless Israel has promised that they will enter into conflict with Iran, if that happens. But it's not very clear about whether or not they would be interested in going into an outright head-to-head war with Iran. Everything shows what they mean is like espionage or like spies or like things that cause disruption in Iran's economy and taking out like nuclear facilities or military bases or stuff like that. Not like head-to-head war. But again, anything is possible. But I don't, right now as things are, it doesn't seem like it's likely because the cost would be so dire to all sides and nobody has the appetite for that. Oh, Ibn Qayyam is saying, my mother was terrible, unfortunately. I'm so sorry, Ibn Qayyam. Again, so if, at least, but what it could, I think like if anybody had a bad experience with their mother, maybe like share it with other people so other people don't think it was just them. Especially on Mother's Day, other people might think like, oh my God, it was just uniquely me. But so if more people share that, those people wouldn't feel alone. But yeah, sorry to hear that. Oh, Ibn Qiyam is saying, I suffered years of physical abuse, and I remember when I was around 5 or 6 wanting to commit. Oh, I can't even read that on YouTube. Wanting to commit self-deletion. Okay, so that's very sad. I'm so sorry, Ibn Qiyam. Thank you for sharing that. Troll is saying, oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, I think it's too late now, but Mother's Day would be an excellent opportunity to repost Sexy Kelly. Well, where can we post it? Because YouTube doesn't let us post it. YouTube has made it clear that we can't post it. We got our Twitter removed because of these posts. Like that was banned. So we don't have much on Facebook. We're posting it all the time. So it's already being posted there, but we don't have that many places. If you want to see it, you have to become a patron or be on our newsletter, on Atheist Republic's newsletter. So you will get it, there. But we don't have that many places that we're able to post it right now. Abraham saying, was Islamic conquest of Iran peaceful? No, not at all. Was there genocide, atrocities, racism? How do they teach it to Iranian kids in school? Well, we will learn that Iranians were just welcomed the invaders with open arms, and but it's a mix of both. There were some Iranians that opened the gates apparently of a certain city, but there was also a whole bunch of violence and blood and destruction. Okay, Omar was very brutal, but also restraining. Okay, they're both when Omar's invasions has examples of both restraint in destruction and also extremely brutal behavior. So you could the issue is that you could find examples of narrative of both. So you could pick and choose which narrative you want to read to make your case, right? But books were burned, Zoroastrian priests were a lot of them were killed, people were raped. That did happen. But did it at what rate? I don't know if there's that much of an evidence for that. Did it happen at a rate higher to other invasions? Maybe it happened, but maybe all invasions had that, and maybe somebody could argue what happened. Maybe the rate of violence was less, because of Omar's restraint or whatever. Again, it's almost impossible to analyze the level of it and also compare it relatively to other invasions. I just noticed people just highlight the parts that they like that makes their case. But it would be very surprising if there was no atrocities. I mean, that's how invasions worked back then. Okay. I mean, invasions even now, right now, even invasions based on today's standards involves a lot of atrocities. Imagine invasions back then. Like, can you imagine, like, Omar, like any army back then invading another country with no atrocities? Like, that's like, how is that even possible? Lee on Twitch is saying, "Happy Mom's Day." My mom, who passed away on her 100th birthday in 2012, but she is still with me. Oh, that's cute. That's very sweet. She's still with you. Okay. 100th birthday. That's amazing. Good for her. Oh, yeah. And here's my email for anybody who wants to set up a debate or anything. But I need to head out soon. But I'm just going to answer a few more questions. Okay, no more questions. Don't ask any more questions. Do you have any comments on the current Khuzestan protest? We just did. We just highlighted some footage from it earlier. So go check that out. It was in response to higher prices in goods, especially recently the bread prices in Iran have skyrocketed. So I think the higher prices and bad living conditions is the motivation in Khuzestan protests right now. The internet has been cut so that less videos come out of it, but we showed at least one of the videos. So if we get more news from there, I'll cover it in future episodes of Secular Jihadists. So make sure you subscribe and hit the bell notification. Somebody saying Iran is already under heavy sanction. It would be dangerous to have an Iran which has nothing to lose. Yeah, actually, that is a fair point. That is a fair point. Bread of Life is saying, do you think that Ayatollahs in Iran are actually deeply religious, or is this more about keeping power now? Okay, so Ayatollahs in Iran are a whole bunch of people. Okay, so it really depends on the specific Ayatollah, and you can't really tell. I'm pretty sure, given the sheer number of Ayatollahs that are there, there must be some of them that don't believe at all what they say they believe, and they're just like using it as a way to just take advantage of people. And there's also a whole bunch of Ayatollah that are very, very much, they have full faith in everything that they're saying and believe, and they're very religious, and everything they believe everything that they're saying. And there's a whole bunch of Ayatollahs in between those, that there are certain things that they're saying and believe, but there are certain things that they're saying, but they're saying it because it's the most convenient thing to say at the time, and they don't really believe it in themselves, but they justify it for religious reasons for why they should say it. Okay, so there's 3 different categories. What percentage of each exists, I have no idea, and I don't think anybody does. And I think a lot of people do black and white thinking, and they just generalize the entire Ayatollahs of being like this or like that. And I think they are not being very nuanced with the way they're describing things, right? I don't know if that answers your question. Lee is saying Israel, like Iran, is religious or religious-oriented government with a God-centered reason for existence. It's all BS. Okay. As much as I criticize Israeli for being more and more religious, having more and more religious in the government, it's not it's not like Iran. Okay, like Iran is full on. Okay, so Israel is a country where its secularism is being challenged. Okay, but Iran is a full on theocracy, so that's a whole different level. How can we engage in a fan meeting with you, and also do you still enjoy Iranian food? Okay, so I am going to plan events, like face-to-face events in London and LA. Let me know if those are the two cities that we're part. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you see the donate button, the fundraising button. That money is going to be used for these events. So if you want to see me being able to cover the travel costs to be able to go to London and LA to meet with people and have events and do face-to-face meetings, please consider supporting us. Use the donate button. That's what that is going to be used for. Okay. Yeah. As if saying in Pakistan, when a Muslim, wait. Okay, no, I don't generalize things about Muslims. Okay. Okay, no more questions. I'm just going to answer the ones remaining. Could you say more about the Iranian Revolution specific? How did the Shah, with his petroleum export riches showered on the military to earn its loyalty, be overthrown without hardly any fight? That's a very good question. So you're saying if the Shah had all that oil to shower its military to earn its loyalty, how was it overthrown? Okay, so one thing that happened during the revolution was the strikes within the oil industry that really weakened the Shah's hands. Okay, so there was that, and also the Artesh, which was the armed forces, they switched. They turned on Shah because they saw the things not going in the direction. I think they assumed that they could maintain their power if they just sided with the people who were protesting. A lot of them did that, and he lost all his support. Like he lost the ability to maintain power once that happened. This is why Khomeini created a parallel ideological military force parallel to the Artesh, which is the IRGC, to avoid such a coup happening to him. Okay. All right. Oh, I'm saying London would be great. Okay, yeah, I will be in London. I would hopefully, if I could afford it. Again, guys, please donate to the Atheist Republic fundraising campaigns so we could continue we could have live events, okay? Oh yeah, Soha is saying yes, London, can't wait to see you again. Oh, thank you. Okay. So you're saying when are London face-to-face events taking place? I don't know. First, we have to raise enough money to be able to afford it, and then we will plan it, and then we will announce it. Okay, we'll announce it right here. Okay, depending, yeah. So we'll see. We have to see how much it costs. We have the cost of the venue, the cost of the plane tickets, the cost of security. So the cost of the food and everything. So all of that has to be the cost of like the hotel prices and everything. For both me and Susanna, all of that, we have to raise all of that to be able to make that happen. All right, guys. Thank you so much for the support. If you can't support us financially, at least leave a like to help this channel grow. The likes really, really boost the channel. Okay, it really does. Okay, and maybe if you want to support us further, share the video and recommend other people to support to come watch. I try to be as unbiased. I know. By the way, just to be clear, when I say I try to be unbiased, I'm not claiming that I'm successful at it. Okay, because it's almost impossible. But I do my damn best to try to be unbiased and to discover my biases as much as possible. Okay, so that given that effort that I'm making for all of you, and given that I'm not trying to the one reason. Okay, here's one important thing. One of the main reasons this channel doesn't grow is because I don't do the thing that makes channel grow. And what is that? Realizing that there's an audience that wants a certain content and just feeding it to them exactly what they want. Okay, because I question everything. At one point in time, people who follow me will have the things that they really care about crapped on. Okay, so they come because you're attacking something that they hate, but then they stick around until you start attacking something that they love. Because I could not do that. I could just I could look at the demographic of the people that I have and just notice the thing that they enjoy the most and the thing that they hate the most, and just target that only. And that's the way to get your community grow. I don't do that, and I hope that the people who appreciate that I don't do that are, at least, even if our community is small, they stay with us. You know, the people who enjoy seeing everything questioned, even everything that I believe in questioned. Okay. If you appreciate that, please do whatever you can to help this channel grow. Okay. Anyways, thank you everybody, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.